Sometimes they say every cloud has a silver lining. Ours has a golden lining this year. In this golden Jubilee year, we have so much to marinate upon and enjoy the flavor of 5 decades of youth ministry in our Archdiocese. It is both my joy and my privilege to be at the helm of the Diocesan Youth Centre and to recall with gratitude the kind of ministry that the priests and the young people have engaged in the last 50 years. Every youth director who's come here and been the director of the youth center has brought in his individuality, his uniqueness, and has left an indelible mark in the functioning of the youth center. For us, therefore, the effort at the youth center is at the moment that we bring to them this truth that Christ is the magnetic force of our lives, that He is the center. And from this center, with Christ there, we move to the circumference and the periphery, bringing Christ to our young people all around us. The springboard for this Golden Jubilee has been the spiritual preparation in this golden year by having with us the relic of Blessed Carlo Acutis and the statue that will go around on a spiritual pilgrimage around the Archdiocese. We carry the banner that says, Christ is alive, and so the youth ministry will continue to sing the chorus of the resurrection, being at the service of the young people of the Church of Bombay.
50 years of the establishment of the Diocesan Youth Centre, with stalwarts such as the late Father Raymond De Silva, Father Michael Pace, Father Jude Buthello, Father Larry Pereira, and others who are still alive. All these have contributed their resources to getting the youth of our Archdiocese more and more vibrant. One of the unique opportunities that I had while being the director of the Diocesan Youth Centre, Bandra, was the organization of its Silver Jubilee Year in the year 1997. I still remember with joy how the late Ivan Cardinal Dias, the then Archbishop of Bombay, asked for a guitar at St. Peter High School Hall, Bandra, and sang his popular song on stage, Telephone to Glory, much to the delight of our youngsters, who were seen to be clapping and dancing on their feet. The organization of the Parish Youth Week was the climax and culminating event of the Silver Jubilee Year of the Diocesan Youth Centre, when we had formation sessions, fellowship programs, and outreach activities, the threefold aims of the Diocesan Youth Centre. Truly, those days were memorable for me, as I had the grace-filled opportunities to mentor our youth.
My journey with the youth began as a youth when I was in college to St. Andrews, Bandra, and we had illustrious youth directors like Father Michael Pace, who journeyed with us. And then when I joined the seminary and became a priest, I was happy to be involved in youth work. But specifically with connection to the Diocesan Youth Centre, I was appointed there in 1998 with Father Bathol, now Bishop Bathol, and then I took over as director from 1999 to 2004. In those years, I realized that I was gaining as much as I was giving to the youth, and this motto of my ordination, Lord, here I am, helped me to reach out a little more to youth through music at the Khandala camps, at the little camps at Bosco Wadi, and at the mission stations out in our Raigad deanery. The guitar helped me to gravitate the music towards the people and the children and the youth towards myself and the Lord, work of the Lord. I must mention the fantastic contribution of our late Father Larry Pereira. It was he who hit upon that fantastic and beautiful tripod for youth activity, fellowship formation service. And around this area, I think the youth movements in our parish grew. And I think if we get back to that sort of a culture of having our meeting structured around these three tripod stand, we will have rejuvenated our youth mission. I remember composing a DYC anthem during my tenure somewhere in 2002, I think, and it happened just off the cuff at the Kandala camp. Youth are we, yeah, youth are we, full of life and energy, reaching out through the DYC. That was chorus part, and there were 3 verses to it. We structured certain camps like committed cadres, daring doers, and spiritual camps. So we introduced Teze prayer. We got camps done at Boscovadi for personality development, and we also had service-oriented camps at Raigad missions, where we dropped in and met people working in the missions. I think that the call today for the DYC to take off at a different trajectory, would be both to hearken to the past fellowship formation service in and through the garb of modern media and modern outreach that the youth are so adept at. Go for it, guys, and happy golden anniversary.
I've always believed that young people are a gift from God and to be treasured. The Catholic Church looks upon young people as one of her greatest resources because of what they bring to the table. Their great enthusiasm, their joy for life, their willingness to take risk, their willingness to look for potential and opportunities. And this is what makes them truly wonderful. And I'm glad that the Youth Centre, the Diocesan Youth Centre of the Archdiocese of Bombay is celebrating 50 years. I'm indebted to all those people who helped me to animate youth ministry in the diocese. My working with youth has been a very memorable experience, totally awesome. I don't know how much the youth gained from me, but surely I learned a lot from them. Their joy for life, their spirit of adventure, their willingness to fly to great heights has totally enriched and enhanced not only my priesthood, but my life.
It was an interesting 3 years. I worked closely with Father John Barreto, who happens to be a classmate of mine, both very youth-friendly. The experience was mostly about taking off from whatever was done in the past with the past directors like Father Larry and Father Barthol, who now Bishop Father Austin. What we also did was infuse new types of programs into the year, the calendar year. Like what was the Youth Leaders Convention in the past became Youth Coach, Leaders Coach. So what we did is, instead of having one central program at St. Xavier's College, we looked at possibilities of having a deanery-wise, because we felt when the youth met at the deanery level, they were able to interact closer with each other, also choose leaders which we found were very, very resourceful, were very helpful. We started something called LOC, Local Organizing Committee. So all this was during that time. One thing that I can remember was what we did for the youth serve that particular year. We were focusing on the Mount Mary's Basilica. It was the centenary of the Mount Mary's Basilica, and we had a program called Something Like Mary, where youth from all over the Archdiocese gathered together, first at St. Peter's, where they had a Eucharistic celebration, and then they all walked in procession like a pilgrimage towards the Mount, where every parish had to make a sort of a banner which was judged. We played games in the compound. The Papal Nuncio also came and was present that evening. The late Cardinal Ivan Dias was happy to be there. But the Nuncio was so touched with the enthusiasm of the youth present there. We had over 1,200 youth at the Basilica, and post that particular program, I remember it was not even time of selfies then, but everyone was posing with the nuncio and the cardinal, and they were happy to see the leaders of the church present with them for that particular program. Learning is reciprocal. While the youth are interacting with us, there is so much that they share about their own lives, their struggles, even their joys and victories. So while we see them work, while we see them sit and plan with us, there is also an inspiration that comes about, like, what are we doing at the end for the youth? What is it that we can organize that the youth will sort of accept and learn for themselves? And I constantly was challenged. In fact, very often in our meetings we would say, well, if we were to put ourselves into the shoes of the youth, what is it that they would like to really look forward to? So that's where we also thought of leadership at a very different level, where we thought we focus on these youngsters. And by the way, I think it was during the time of Father John and myself that we coined on that one line that said, the youth are really not the future, but they are the present. And with this present that we have with us, let's make the youth the gift to the church, to the archdiocese.
All during my tenure, I had Bishop Bosco Penna, who was in charge of the youth ministry. And I was always amazed of his passion for youth. For 4 years, I had with me Father Walter D'Souza, and together we could achieve a lot. Our focus was the NYG, the PYC, the PYAT in every parish, because it was proved that it was the most effective way to reach out to every youth. We had one of the biggest festivals during that time, the Mumbai Youth Festival in Matunga, where more than 5,000 youth were present and had a very enjoyable evening. The high point, I believe, of my tenure was an exchange program that we had with the Diocese of Limburg, Germany. We spent 13 days in Germany, and we also invited the German youth of the Diocese of Limburg to our archdiocese. There were about 14 or 15 youth, and when the German youth were here, they were amazed to see how we function. And when our youth, about 14 youth from all over the archdiocese went to Germany, they had a life-changing experience. I'm very happy that the DYC is celebrating 50 years. Congratulations, DYC. Keep it up.
Congratulations to the youth ministry in the Archdiocese of Bombay. It's 50 years since we began in a very constructed way youth ministry as an apostolate. And I think that the ministry of youth in the Archdiocese of Bombay begins with that premise that we want to take you from where you are, not where we expect you to be. One of the programs that I remember that here we tried as an experiment was a retreat, a special retreat called Come Aboard the Jesus Trip. And we were skeptical, Father Bartol and I that time, it was the month of October, whether any youth would turn up. And to our surprise, if I remember, there were over 50 of them who registered, and we had to stop registrations. Not only that, we thought the youth were coming there in court to have a good time. And yes, they did have a good time, but they had a good time with Jesus because they spent long hours in prayer. At times, we had to literally ask them to leave the chapel. And that brought out another facet of the youth, because generally the youth are presumed to be fun-loving, they want parties, they want games, but we saw this another aspect of very serious-minded youth who wanted to spend time with Jesus, learn about Jesus, spend time before the Blessed Sacrament. So that enlightened us that the youth also thirst for God in their own way.
My association with the DYC started 30 years ago when I was a teenager. I know it's hard to believe because I still look like one. I had attended a youth leadership camp conducted by Father Larry Pereira in the last century. And 30 years later, I met Father Leon Vegas. And guess what? He was also a participant at the camp. And I was thrilled that he recognized me, because it means I haven't changed too much.
Like Shirley, my association with DYC began around 3 decades ago at the camps at RC Church Kandala, organized by Father Larry and his team. Those camps were a wonderful experience. And after working for around 14 years during my work life, I discerned a call to the priesthood, and I've been serving the priest as a priest for the last 3 years or so. Some few months ago at a deanery meeting, I was pleasantly surprised to meet Shirley, and I recognized her as one of the participants at those camps. And it was a real pleasant surprise to meet her, and we started exchanging all the wonderful time we had at the camp, all the fun, all the learning. It was truly a memorable time down memory lane, and those camps sowed seeds of serving the Lord. Today Shirley is working with the DYC as a youth animator and a resource person, and I'm a priest working with the youth in the Andheri Deanery. The Lord truly does amazing things with us. I think one of the things that helped me to finally accept the call of the priesthood was seeing the dedication and commitment of Father Larry, Father Ruben, and then Brother Nigel, Brother Warner, and Brother Simon. They truly inspired me.
At DYC, we accompany our youth on their journey following in the footsteps of Christ. The journey of accompaniment is indeed enriching. There are things that we need to impart, and there are things we need to absorb. And we all know that He makes all things beautiful in His time.